are.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the episode now.
I know, right? We're coming to who is timing, literally. I'm so excited, and I have highlighted notes. I pulled a Meg, and you started off. Do you want me to start off?
Oh God.
We have a lot to say.
Okay. So this is the beginning of hour 2 of the watch party, because this will take about an hour. The other day, so yesterday, Jess and I were like, oh, let's talk about what we're going to talk about on the show tomorrow. And it would be like a super quick phone call, like no worries. And then it was like an hour and 10 minutes later. And I was like, okay. So this conversation is going to be mostly, almost exclusively, about the part of the episode involving the dragon, obviously. Jess, you have lots of things to say, and you will say them, I am sure, about the events preceding that, and you should say them. But just so everybody knows, like...
It's predominantly about the dragon.
Yeah. So first, do we want to talk about facts versus assumptions? Do we want
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes,
so,
we do.
So Jess brought my attention to the fact that I don't know anything. And
I'm just very passionate.
I love it. Teasing, and it's totally true. So the choice that was put in front of our heroes, my reading of it was like almost completely incorrect. My reading of it at first was they are being given a choice between two worlds where one, we already know all the things that have happened. It's the world that has happened so far. They are on a path where they have like mirrored the Wardens, and they are going on to defeat the Ashen Mage. Hopefully,
we'll call this path the Heroes of Bingle timeline.
Oh, I love that. The HOB timeline.
Yes.
Path 2 is they forget who they are. They start in the timeline where there is no dungeon run, and they go off, but there is still an Ashen Mage. There is still an Ernfurt. There is not a Yanmo, but there is still like all these baddies and all these things happening. And so that's what I thought they were choosing between. And like, maybe somebody else will take care of it. But Jess pointed out to me that is in fact absolutely 100% incorrect.
Well, the thing is, I've been saying this since day one. It's always been my philosophy. There's one thing that I try to keep everyone on check on, and that is never take assumptions to be facts. And don't get me wrong, I know that's what the party started assuming, and that's definitely what the party was basing their decisions off of. But the Chrono Dragon never confirmed half of that. The only thing that the Chrono Dragon confirmed was the fact,
baby.
Yeah, we got it here. Thanks, Caspian, you're awesome.
Yes, thank you, Caspian.
Is the fact that in this alternate timeline, they were given the option, and they were given the knowledge that Yanmo would not be Yanmo. He would stay Chomel. All he was saying is that, yes, that Chomel would grow up, have a happy life on Bingle, and that all the people who died in that massacre would live, Bingle would be saved, and none of those dead hodgepodge bodies would be there. That is what they were being asked to choose.
The only thing. And here is the proof. Do you want me to do the reading?
Go for it, girl.
Okay, I have spent a lot of money on this voice changer, and so here it comes. I'm just kidding. No.
I'm so excited.
No, absolutely not. No. Okay. Okay, so here it is. Filt never puts up a sign advertising for adventurers. This never thinks of coming into this place as just a simple dungeon run because he never sees the dragon leave its lair. Because Chomel never becomes Yanmo. He never meets the Ashen Mage, never helps her negotiate a scale pact with the Sun Dragon, which we're going to come back to. And put a pin in that one. And thus the sun dragon is never called out of its makeshift lair, so it does not leave. You don't come. And the secret keeper's amulet remains right here in this very spot, still guarded by the sun dragon. And then skip to a paragraph later. Raoul the barkeep does not die. Dufo Hims does not die. Seth the wizard apprentice does not die. Diptha the sky child is never rescued, which suggests that she does need to be rescued in this timeline. But there are so many, like the key thing in here is that, so Yanmo doesn't help the Ashen Mage gain like what is clearly a key part of her power. So can you really assume, yes, please go ahead.
I was gonna, you didn't finish the last part that proves the fact that nothing they know is true. It was literally also the part, everything she said is accurate. That's what we know. The reason we know that they don't know anything about the Ashen Mage is they specifically ask, does the Ashen Mage team up with another leader? Does she still carry out her plans with Chomel? Do the wardens get rescued? He says, perhaps people take their place, perhaps not. The key word is, it is not for you to know. He does not confirm, deny, he does not say that that's what will happen.
Yeah. And so if the Ashen Mage isn't this like super all-powerful person who has a pact with the dragon, does she even like pose the same threat? The one thing is the Diptha thing, but the little like, but like maybe Erdenford is still a thing. Anyway, who knows? But it's like the assumption that the heroes are heroes make at the end, which is that the Ashen Mage still needs to be taken care of. I don't think, now that Jess has turned me on to thinking this way, I don't think it is true. So the choice that they're making, as you rightly said, is, do you pre-save Bingle? Do you save the boy?
It's basically the same decision, different circumstances, but this is what the dragon was pointing out, is the fact that he was testing them and giving them the exact same choice as he did the ones who, the Aryan Age warden people. I don't know, I can't do words, okay, you don't know that.
Heroes of the Aryan Age.
Words. Names are hard.
Aryan Age.
Age. Anyway, and that was, do you give up who you are? Do you give up your memories? Do you give up what you love and what you value to save Bingle, to save people? That was the option. The same similar situation that the wardens had of, do you give up yourselves? Do you give up your memories? Do you give all of this up to bring peace, to fight in this war? It was more simplistic, which I know in time is never easy, but he was asking very simplistic questions that the party kind of dived a little too much into and made too many, fair enough, to make too many assumptions on. But that's why even the Chrono Dragon brings it back and he goes, hey, I hope now you know what decision you were making, how hard it must have been for the wardens to make this decision. And it's, fair, and I would love to know how not sure it was quite the same. I would love to know that, because we don't know how much information that the wardens were given. We don't know. In fact, similarly to Civ, who wanted to change his decision, the Chrono Dragon confirmed that a warden also wished that they changed their decision. In the transcript, at least felt regret for it.
Give me that transcript.
Read that transcript. I wish it was 12 pages here, but I don't remember exactly where it was. It was towards the end, but he said, I hope you, when he was talking about their decisions, he said, think about how desperate you might be, the regret you feel, your desire to change your decision. Perhaps you will sympathize with the one who had the same misgivings, regrets, are not nearly so easy to erase. So yeah, I think that they read a little too much into it. And to highlight what Meg was saying about the Sun Pact, taking that pen out a little bit, Meg, who knows if the Ashen Mage would be the Ashen Mage? I know specifically Morgan / James and Civ were very set on, we need to go and save
somebody
them.
needs to stop her. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But if she doesn't make this pact that we are just finding out about, if she doesn't make this pact with the Sun Dragon, and she doesn't team up with Yanmo, who the Chrono Dragon confirmed helps her, is she even a big deal? Sure, she may still be evil at heart, but does she have the capability to be the Ashen Mage?
Yeah, she doesn't have a dragon. I'm like, What kind of bad guy are you if you don't have a
Who
dragon?
are you? I mean, it's so interesting. And so I think that the Chrono Dragon was definitely testing, but he was trying to get the heroes, because he even says in the transcript that I needed to know this.
Yes.
You needed to know this.
Yes. So in the end, it wasn't in fact their inflection point. It wasn't in fact their choice to make. So, but the purpose of all of this, the purpose of this like character torture was because the dragon needed to know. And that to me is the most interesting thing that happened in that last episode. Who are you? Dragon? What's your deal? Why do you need to know?
Yeah, Meg and I decided that there's a council of
Yes.
unknown baddies.
Yeah.
Kind of, in my head, it's like the Star Wars council. There's just good guys, bad guys, just a bunch of people just watching this.
So I also went back, and I know, so this is not I don't think this is speculation, because we don't speculate on this program, but I did go back to the War of Ideas episode, the anime episode, because I feel like that is where that is like the episode where Jeff gave us the most stuff to work with. And there's a speech by a Dragonborn who starts, "Today the war of ideas will end. Ideas will end because each of you and your heroic deeds." The Dragonborn says, "We know that the threats will never be fully defeated, but only lie dormant 300 years. That is why we must ask you, our greatest heroes who have sacrificed so much, who have helped us make the most difficult decisions, to sacrifice one last time." And then there's the doing of the moats and the things. Like that to me, like, I feel like there's something there, and I'm not going to continue speculating on this stream. However, I think there's something there.
You gotta tease a little bit. You just got done. Tease. Don't tell.
Is that person the Dragon? I don't know.
Ooh.
Anyway, I'm not going to speculate. I'm not supposed to speculate. I'm sorry. Yes. The other thing that I wanted to speculate, but also not speculate about, is there are two. I'm going to get in trouble. I know we're going to be invited back. There are two times that we have heard the This is my inflection point. There are two times we've heard the prefix chrono in this show, and the first one is in front of a dragon, and the second one is in front of these seeds. And yes, I went back. I did my homework. James finds the seeds in the fallen lodestar in a pouch. And that is all I will say about that, because I don't know what it means.
That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know.
Anyway.
No, Meg and I, we should probably put some of our theories in the no cast zone, because we definitely got into some of our theories when we talked about this episode. Some of them definitely involving the chrono seeds for sure. I also wanted to give a quick nod, since we are talking about the chrono seeds and time and the amulet. I did want to give a nod to the fact that I thought it was really cool how Jeff kind of incorporated us into the scene. I thought it was really brilliant. It's only the second time in this whole show that he's talked directly to the viewers and the watchers, and I thought that was really cool, especially the way that he did it. It was very at the climax of the intensity, and it was very, because you got to remember, he's confirmed when they get the amulet with Torvald that there are gods of the time stream. Everything that happens is gods in the actual world, not just us. So the fact that he kind of did a pun and a double meaning there, I thought was really great, especially like I said at the climax, where he's just like, they'll be mad, they'll be angry, it'll turn off. Like it was basically not only talking about how much this decision would impact their world, their characters, but how much it would impact us.
Yeah. There was like a line about us being heartbroken, and I was like, okay, like, yes.
And how, in a way, how cool was it for us to be a third party, almost as if like their decision affects us so much.
Yeah. It is. It's something. I mean, that's the special thing about this show, right? Is that from episode 1 and now from episode 0, the Watchers have always been felt to be the sixth person at the table. The sixth man. Is that a sports thing? Hey, Yeah, okay.
I'm all about Canadian
To be the sixth person at the table, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about what each one of them in the choice, because even though it wasn't in the end their choice, it was in fact a test of some sort, which is clear. And each of them given the opportunity to make a choice. And I'd like to talk about like what each of them would have given up.
Okay.
So,
once I set off my rocket, I'll just not stop talking. So you go first.
Oh my God, talk. Okay, so it is my opinion that the only player who like truly has a really, really difficult choice, which is maybe oversimplifying it, is super oversimplifying it, but is Lily. Like, yeah, you are oversimplifying it. No, is Lily, because the option for them was like, you never meet, and the things that have happened since you met don't happen. And the only character who has had like maybe the worst thing in her life happen to her since they all met was Lily. Everybody else, I would say, arguably, has had an upward trajectory in terms of life experiences. Obviously, ups and downs along the way, but I think that she had the most to sort of think about in that moment.
I don't disagree with you, and no, I love us because we always kind of see we always show each other a different.
Watching, yes.
Well, we show each other a different perspective, and I didn't think of it that way through Lily's point of view until you said that. The only thing that I would still wonder is, again, speaking like facts, we don't know 100% how valid that is, just because I know it's her character. Lily doesn't talk about what she's thinking, feeling, and how she's doing. And so we don't know just yet how
I love
much.
and identify with. Yep, sorry.
I know, right? No, because we don't know how much Lily values her life after meeting the heroes. We don't know what she holds is important and valuable to her. We don't. We know how much she loves her home, and I agree with you as far as that's been her focal point. But Lily has never discussed about what she would lose.
Oh, I think she loves Civ. Like, I mean, so I'm a romantic. Hello. And we can talk about that in terms of my love of like Chomel Baojai, about that. Anyway, whatever. Romance is I love romance. But I think she loves Civ. And so that combination of like having to choose between like, does the worst thing that's ever happened to you happen, or not happen rather, or do you lose like potentially the love of your life? Like, oh, come on. I love that. That's a great choice.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you overall, though. And like I said, it was such an interesting perspective. I do 100% agree. Not only did Lily have the hardest choice because, theoretically, in thought, she had the worst thing happen to her after the fact. But it's also so personal. We're literally talking about her home. It's not people in theory. I mean, we have to remind ourselves that Lily knows, even if Jeff thought it was a little too dark, he didn't go there, but even though it's not her direct family, she literally knows 90% of the people that died.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Like, she knows these people. And so, it's definitely more of an emotional decision. And so just to clarify overall, because Meg wants to talk about their choices, she chose nothing. She chose not to answer.
Yeah.
In fact, her literal words, because we have the transcript, was, I won't make this decision.
How could you? Come on, I don't think I could.
So where do you think? Well, we're gonna give our opinions at the very end. We're going to.
I've made it pretty clear.
Yeah. And so, where do you think Civ stands?
Well, I mean,
not Civ. I meant James, but yeah, Civ too.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, Civ's told us. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, like, sort of. So obviously what he gives up is like not necessarily power because he already had that, just being noticed by Shothrugrod, but also for the first time being accepted by a group of people, which is like the more important thing for James. Like his path has always been to find people amongst whom he feels at least like an ounce of love, which is something that clearly, I mean, I may be misremembering. We don't know a ton about where he came from. We know his parents died early. Anyway, but I don't think this is a man who has felt a lot of love, and I think for the first time he feels love. So that is, that again, the choice that he has to make while watching, you know, Lily, a person in this group of people whom he loves, be so tortured. So that I think that he's giving up like love for the first time.
Oh. And to quote the transcript again, because I'm obsessed, acceptance. True.
Is that what it says?
Acceptance, yes. It said, James, you will never get to tell your truth and feel the acceptance of your friends.
Oh.
So I think I 100% agree with you. I think the acceptance and the love goes together.
Yes, yeah.
But for me, what I found interesting about James's choice or thought process was the fact that it was only after the Chrono Dragon said, which I hate so much, I really do, you will go back to being a nobody underneath his notice. It was interesting though how that was actually what pushed James' thought process more towards staying who they are. I think it's very clear to some extent James, he likes the power, he likes being the one in charge.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Yes. I mean, this is a person who, you know, was at Nightstone Abbey and did not have any power, was not allowed to study the arcane arts, and then turned to, you know, sort of stolen power from the back of a book. Like it is, this is a person who's obviously wanted power for some time, like, you know, healthy or not. Somebody wrote in the Discord today that their friend has started watching, and they said the only thing they ship is James in therapy. Like that.
I don't know who that person is, but I love them.
It's amazing. But like that's it, right? It's like, you know, I've never had acceptance, so I seek and crave power, and now that has become like a habit, and yet the acceptance of my friends is there, and so like that choice for him, yeah, no, it's extra complicated, I think, for James.
Cass Farron, you said that he likes, well, just comment just went away, but you said that basically he likes having the power to do good, to make a difference. I think that's interesting if you go back to what he's
something
is
that
asking.
People who are power hungry tend to say to justify their actions.
No, that's literally what I was about to say. If you think about the choice, it's very interesting. Someone would justify it as, I'm choosing to make sure these people on this island die so I can make a difference. How does that sound? And it definitely goes to James's struggle and almost where his faults are in a way.
Totally.
It's very interesting.
And I think the exact same of Civ, in fact. And I think that's why Civ brought up like, no, but what about the Ashen Mage? Because Civ is a person who has found redemption, not just in love, like the dragon said, but in the new persona that he's created for himself. And I don't think that he's like necessarily power hungry in the same way. And obviously James is power hungry, but you know what I mean? It's complicated. But he is hero hungry. He wants to be a hero. He wants to be a good guy. He wants to be somebody. He wants to be a savior. And like, he can't do those things if he doesn't have this group and this quest. So yeah, it's very, I think there's a reason why he brought up like, guys, we have to think about the Ashen Mage. So that. And then, of course, I did love Fahima's offer of like dedicating her life to finding the wish spell, which is great. I'm playing a wizard in a different campaign, and like she is also dedicating her life to the wish spell, but only because I, as a player of D&D, have always wanted the wish spell. So that's very lovely. The wish spell is a very high level wizard spell. You don't know.
I actually know what it is.
You do? Okay, I'll stop mansplaining it to you then.
No, only because they said it on the show. So, no, I agree. Surprisingly, that was a huge awe moment for me also, because it really fit. It was so good job, JLP, to really using the opportunity to show Fahima what she's all about. She's so stayed true to.
Again, it was, you know, like it was I can use this for good and to help people.
Not even just that, but Fahima, the things that are most important to her is learning, growing, and helping. And so it was definitely one of those deep moments where she was like, no, it was almost in that moment, Fahima was finding herself a purpose. It was almost as she was like, the way she even said it, like, I dedicate my life to finding the wish spell. It was almost as if she was trying to give herself meaning, and it was beautiful.
God, I love Fahima so much.
It was a good moment. It really was.
It was a good moment.
And then we can't. It was. It drove up my mall rating, that's for sure. And then we have to talk about Uggo, who, from the very get-go, I think, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think Uggo is more wise and more in tune to what's going on than this party gives him credit to. And they should listen to him a little more. But Uggo was not messing around. Uggo walked in there knowing essentially knowing what was going on. He knew by the time they even stepped into the dungeon that he was a plaything. He knew that this was just a test, and he challenged the dragon a little bit. He did.
Like from the very first scene, he was like, we gotta go talk to the dragon. Everybody else was like, we are level 1. We almost got killed by a chicken rat. And then he was like, we have to go talk to the dragon. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, no, and even to the dragon himself, he was all like, this choice isn't up to us. Like you were a plaything, and he didn't step down, and I loved that. And it wasn't. I love how someone. I think it was. I hate being wrong, so I won't answer. But someone was like, "I'll go respect," and he was like, "Oh, I respect him, but I'm not going to let him use me." And I loved that. Essentially, is what he said, and it was great. But I do think, as far as choice goes, even though Uggo did stand his ground, I think Uggo made it pretty clear. If they were to force him to choose, he would have chosen to continue to save the boy and save the island in his honor and his life pact to Lily, which was just.
Yes. Yeah. I also think saving the boy just in general sort of lines up with who Uggo is as a person. Well, I mean, we know for a fact that the idea of saving the boy lines up with all of these characters because that's what they chose in the first place when they didn't know the consequences of it. So, yes. I am really looking forward to, so the end of that episode, I think they said, like, we need a whole episode to talk about what just happened. Like Lily's face when Civ said, I changed my mind, I hand over the boy. Like her face just like crumpled and she looked away. It was incredible. I can't wait to hear that conversation.
Yeah. And I too can't wait to just see some of them process it. I've been saying this, but I love it when Jeff kind of forces and pushes these things in Lily's face also, because no, really, because it forces
I
her.
tortured you.
Right. No, because
it's so good.
I 100% love it because Lily, her character development is all about avoidance and peace and everything's fine. And Lily, times like this, very hard to go into that happy world. And even though it was out of character, Katie kind of even said, Lily is done. And so I can't wait to see how that processes out on the show and how that processes out with Lily, especially pertaining to Civ's very firm decision.
And like the only character who made a capital D decision.
Yes. Oh yeah. And I love too, even though he made the decision, he did say, I speak for myself. I did love that.
Yeah.
Although in theory, he still spoke for the group. He was very, I thought, really respectful about it. He still, at the end of the day, was like, this is me. I'm doing Civ. I do want to, before Meg and I talk about what we would do, I want to just give a small shout out to, again, I know this show is very organic and not planned out, and I really want to give you a testament of how beautiful just episode 0 in general was. It was, it's the truth. It was a little sloppy. It was all over the place. The party was all over the place, but I actually really loved that because I feel if we were to genuinely watch episode 0, this is as close to watching the real thing as we would have gotten.
I mean,
And I was
assume,
telling Meg,
yeah.
we're technically 55 episodes in, episode 0, and here we are, the party still knows each other, and they're sitting there just now like, hey, let's do hand signals. Let's actually, what are we doing? And Lily forgot she could heal herself. I mean, it was episode 0 for all intents and purposes.
It was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And like, you know, these moments of like extreme, also level 1 etude, like the I'm forgetting the name of the monster now that creates darkness. But so saying what it does is eat level 1 adventurers. Like this is what it does. And their extreme nervousness, as you said, the just figuring out hand signals on episode 56. They've been together for weeks. They've like all saved each other's lives. They're just figuring it. It was just, yes, it was very organic. And like some of that comes with like playing level 1 where you're nervous and you're like, oh God, like I'm gonna die. And some of it comes from just like how, yeah, lovely and organic this party interacts with each other.
And then just Jeff tying it all together. Jeff, I just want to barf gold at your feet sometimes, because for me, what kind of really put it all together is, I don't know if he wrote this in or had this planned. Either way, it was magical. When the Chrono Dragon at the very end said, he was talking about their memories, and he said, if you stay in this timeline, when you choose this timeline, you will forget. He pointed out, he said, you've been through this episode 0. You've been through this already. Haven't you noticed the things you've already forgotten, and just how different it was, even though
we were like, oh no, they're already forgetting their memories. Like, oh no, the time stream has changed. And in reality, people just have bad memories. Like it was so good. As you said, it was so like, it's a lovely moment to weave like truth and also was the, you know, storytelling fiction together. It was just flawless.
Yeah. And I know James specifically was like, was there smoke in this room? I don't know. Were there rats? What's going on? I mean, they really weren't organically forgetting. So I would love to know if Jeff had that line planned or not, because I really thought it was a beautiful way to tie up the whole dungeon. And it was a great episode. So I do have to ask Meg.
Yeah. You and your memory, you and your perfect memory is what they need in their party. To be like, no, and then we walked here, and it was 10 steps to this, thing, and then we.
Let me tell you exactly what was in this room 20 years ago. I really did enjoy it.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to like the very like beautiful DM moment where they're like messing around the river and the darkness, and Lily says, I have an idea. Let's jump in the river. And everybody goes, what? And Jeff goes like this. And just like raises his eyebrows and looks down. Like it was such a good moment. And then, you know, Behemoth saying, or Jeff saying, Jeff just wants us to go in the darkness. And he goes, I just want something to happen. Like it's just a beautiful, it's such a beautiful like home game D&D moment where like the party is very afraid of dying because they're level 1, but the DM has this grand thing planned and just wants everybody to get to it. So
100 little different grand things planned that he didn't even get to half of it. So
yes.
Yeah, it was great.
It's a beautiful moment.
Classic. So Meg.
Yes.
You're standing in front of the dragon. Do you save the boy or do you let them take him?
Okay, so here's the thing. I am firmly like on the fence with Lily on this one. The number of good and terrible things that have happened in the Heroes of Bengal timeline, as we have said it, as we've deemed it, are incredible. Like so many great things, so many terrible things. If you are Lily, think of the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your entire life, and all of the things, good and bad, that have happened since then. If somebody came up to you, is your phone okay?
Shut up, it's fine.
If you were told, listen, you can go back and you can have that really terrible thing not happen to you, like what would you say? Like, you know, I think of the worst thing that's ever happened to me and all of the good and bad things that have happened since then. And I don't think I could make that decision. Like, you know, there's, I just don't think I can make that decision. Anyway, so that's what I would do. I would not make the decision. I would say, all right,
She would stand
dragon,
there.
you
She
make
would stand there next to Lily and just burn from fire from the dragon, from the lack of a choice. Basically.
I am absolutely, I would die, yes. And now you are standing in front of the dragon. What do you do?
Well, it's funny because when we talked about this, Meg actually stopped me from answering.
It's true. I didn't want to know. I wanted to be like genuinely surprised in this moment. So, because I have no idea.
I was very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was. Well, you didn't. It was funny because Meg actually prepped that with saying, "You're such a good person," and I was like,
"Oh, it's true. It's true. It's true. You are an extremely good person, and I think that you would choose. I think that you would choose the path by which the least number of people are hurt. That is what I think that you would do." Oh, you're about to.
Well, I was in the moment, and I felt what Jeff was trying to do, and I was in that moment, and I was actually getting very emotional. Meg can attest, even in our own D&D game, I really 100% put myself in the moment. Like when my character is getting stabbed, I cringe. Like, it's ridiculous. And so I'm sitting here in this moment with these characters tearing up, and I'm not gonna lie to you. So much similar to today, I had such a crappy day last Wednesday, and the community was so nice to me, and everyone in chat was so caring and loving. And I'm sitting there, and as Jeff said, you know, we'll turn this off, we'll turn all this off. And I thought, okay, short term, what if I never met this community? What if I never had this show? Keep going. What if I didn't have my friends and my family and the things that I hold value and dear to myself? And I got so emotional, and I'm literally getting emotional right now. I'm gonna try not to cry. And I really put myself in it, and I thought to myself, honest to God, my very first thought was, I'm not a hero, and I wouldn't be. And maybe I'm not so much of a good person as you think I am. I think in that moment, Wednesday night, with the party, with this amazing community, someone freaking dropped a potato in my name. Like this, I feel so loved around here. And so honestly, Wednesday night, tearing up, I would have stood by Civ, and I would have said, how dare you try to take everything I love away from me? And I think at the end of the day, I'm not a hero, and I would not give up the things that are important to me in my life. I wouldn't do it. But now,
Civ's choice was the choice to continue to be a hero. Like, they know that path is hard, and they chose it. Like, they chose the heroic path. He chose the heroic path. You are, first of all, you're a lovely, flippant person, and I adore you. And you are loved by this community.
I do want to say though, and I don't know who said this in the Discord chat. I'm okay, guys, I promise. I think it was Ron, I think, but someone that night in the Discord chat said that it's always easy to think about it sitting on the couch, and that's why I can't stress enough as I tear up again. I put myself as freaking in that moment as I could have. And yeah, I'm going to be honest, my choice, I would have been right there. You would have been right there on Lily getting burned on the fence. I would have been there right by Civ, like, no, give me back what is mine. And that is what I would have chosen. Before I get all emotional again.
That's
so sorry, Meg, to disappoint you.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Listen, that is a hard. Civ's path is a difficult one going forward. We know this. Don't be sorry. That's lovely. You do such good in your life. It's serious.
I wanted to be as raw and real as possible, and so just think however you would, but that is what I would have chose. And with that being said, with how emotional I was and how there I was in this episode and in this conversation and my transcript and everything, beautiful job to the cast, to the crew, to the map team, to everybody. And I'm going to give this episode an 8.2 malls.
8.2. Are we doing 10th of a decimal? Is that what we're doing now?
Yeah.
0.2. That's good.
Roll.
That's good.
My issue real quick, by the way, was it was I loved last. Do I ever stop talking now? I loved last episode, 2 episodes ago, so much. And I was really weighing the pros and cons. But again, the way emotionally, personally that I got invested into this episode, I had to give it a higher score.
I love that. I love that. So I said that I wasn't going to score it, but here we go. So this episode for me, so I watched it twice in preparation for this conversation, and even then I still miss so much. But there are a couple of things that really like shoot their rating up for me, and in fact none of them have anything to do with our heroes. Sorry, heroes.
Bye.
One of them is how the NPCs in this world are always they're always active, they're always doing their own things, they're always making their own choices around the heroes. Things are always happening in the background just because the heroes are the ones on screen, there are still things happening around them, choices being made around them that shape the world that they will then inherit and have to fix or fight. And so that for me is just like an incredible like a weaving of a narrative, and so that cranks the score way up for me. The other thing that I'd like to take a moment and speak about the inevitability of evil. God,
I'm
you're
glad you
never
mentioned that because
yeah. So
we had a whole conversation about it.
The idea that so I didn't watch live on Wednesday. I was in the car doing groceries for my grandmother. When I got to the bit, listening to it, when I got to the bit about how Chomel never becomes Yan Mo is raised by the Dumblestacks and becomes like a good person who teaches Prim how to use weapons, and is like a lovely older brother. And I got to my grandma's house and I did the Sawyer Wolf move where I just like sat in the car and listened to it because I couldn't go in. I was just like, I need to listen to how this finishes. Like the idea that a bad guy isn't always going to be a bad guy. Like this whole time travel arc has been about, you meet this little boy as a 5-year-old and what do you do? And now seeing for fact that his path doesn't have to be a bad one is, I think it's just remarkable. I think it's a great, great moral. And I think it's a great, it's just a powerful piece of storytelling. It immerses the players and the watchers in a way that is just marvelous. The choices that you make will shape the world around you forever and ever. And so those two things, which have nothing to do with our heroes and their choice, for me, rockets the episode up to like a solid 9. Like I would say on par with even higher, like 9.5. Are we doing points? Whatever. Really high, like on par with my other favorite episodes, which are there's 10 of them, so I'm not going to list them, but but way up there.
Same. It really was an amazing episode. Yeah, it was. And I can't believe we didn't mention it until your mall rating. It's so true. I also love the fact that Jeff reminds them kind of they're not the centerpiece of this world, and there are constantly people making choices. And we didn't even really talk about that, but really quickly, yes, the them, that how guys at the end of the day, this was not your choice. No. This was the Choron's family. This was Baojai and Chomel's decision. Yeah. It was their choice
Yeah.
to save the boy or let them take him.
Yeah.
And it was just so emotional, and I loved that. And
So
all right, I'm gonna give it an 8.4 malls. Fine, Meg. You convinced me.
I've talked you up. I've haggled you upwards. I want to, like, like I said, the big question that I have going out of this is, like, who is the dragon, and what was this test for? Was this test to see if they could be the next wardens? Who knows? I'll stop speculating, I promise.
We have so many questions, right?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. And I think, like I don't know, whatever Act 2 begins or whatever, but this feels like a really good pivot point. Anyway, who knows? I don't know what's coming next. I'm so excited.
And me too. And as I already did my emotional jam on a higher, happy note, we get to see Whitebeard next episode. It is exciting. So you love him. She actually really hates that guy. It's so funny.
Hooray!
Anyway, yay! I'll be excited for both of you. So excited to see Whitebeard. You have no idea. Oh, yes, Chef Scott. There is the Whitebeard plug. Drop it. I can't
1
wait.
hour and 42 minutes in, folks.
You guys should be proud of me. Yeah. So we literally almost did spend a whole hour on this episode, and it was exciting.
I think I said hour 2 of Watch Party. Let's go.
Whoopsie. I'm very happy. Whitebeard does make me happy, Angel Devilson. And with that said, we have so much to come on the Watch Party. I know I'm very sucky at reminding people, but before we end, I do want to say we do have a Watch Party contest going on. I don't have my little spiel here, but there it is. It has prizes. There's 3 winners. You get fan-made art. There's a bunch of different stuff, and I promise I'll promote this better next time when I'm a little more prepared. But seriously, guys, check it out on the Watch Party commercial channel. All the stuff is there. Any questions you have for me, let me know. But I also want to drop a little teaser that next Watch Party, we will actually have another special guest next week. A special guest. So
who's it? You don't tell me. Tell me later.
Stay tuned. Details coming soon. So with that being said, guys,
thank you for having me.
Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Yes, Meg, I love you. Thank you for convinced. I tried so hard to get you back on here. But I really love you guys. I love everybody who actually stayed through this whole 2-hour episode. There's surprisingly a decent amount of you. It's crazy. And will we get to see Whitebeard be awesome tomorrow? I hope so. What will happen at the bottom of the deep reef? Are we going to the bottom of the deep reef? What's going to happen? We don't know. Stay tuned tomorrow night. As always, guys, I love you. And humankind.
Be both.
Be both.